Hi, welcome back to Thrive America. I'm your host, Brent Brooks, and I'm joined by J. Mark Walker, Mr. Alan Muir, Prince Nair, joined by a business coach, action coach, and I'm joined by PR expert, Mr. Mark Weisbrod, venture catalyst, Russell Fair, Chris Spears, my co-host, Husky Canis, celebrity chef Marvin Woods, Brandon Milch, Dr. Tim Langley, Scott Dunn, Erica Parker.
We're always looking for ways to build bridges of trust. Build bridges of relationship.
Sean, welcome to the set.
Thanks for having me, Brent.
Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Well, right now I'm writing a lot about LinkedIn. I've released a couple of books and I'm writing the LinkedIn Tuition blog, and recently I partnered with Sonar Connects, which is a local advertising agency, really teaching business professionals how to more effectively use social media and LinkedIn.
So Sean, tell us, what is your 5 to Thrive?
Well, the 5 to Thrive I've come up with really is to address some problems I see out there with LinkedIn right now. And the primary problem is people really don't know what they're doing with LinkedIn. There's a lot of people out there that are still trying to figure it out and they don't even know where to start. So I'm going to try to lay out 5 ways that you can get moving with using LinkedIn more effectively. The first is you have to have a purpose and a reason for being on LinkedIn, and you have to define that reason. You can say you're on there to network, you can be on there to advance your career, but really the only reason that I see that you should be on LinkedIn and spending the time is really as a way to make money. And so you need to own that. You need to claim that the reason you're on LinkedIn is to make money, and then make sure that everything that follows, supports that. The second is, once you have that purpose in place, you need to really create an optimized profile. You need to make sure that when somebody comes and visits your profile on LinkedIn, they walk away impressed. And so you need to do some simple things like make sure you have a proper photo on there, it's sized properly, and it really supports your business. You need to make sure that you take advantage of optimizing the URLs. You can write a summary for yourself. You want to make sure you do a great job of that. And just drop keywords throughout your profile, because that'll help people follow you or find you. And then most importantly, I think that gets overlooked, is your tagline. For yourself, Brent, you might have right now video producer on there. What you really want to have is helping folks use video to drive business results. And I think that would be a more effective use of your profile and that tagline. Third thing you want to do is you want to make sure that once you've built that profile, you need to have people that you can expose to that. And so you have to expand your reach on LinkedIn. Most people think in terms of expanding their reach on LinkedIn, setting up new connections and building their direct network, and that's a great way, and you need to build that. I've got currently 2,000 people on my network, and it's a great, strong network. But there are other ways that you can expand your reach on LinkedIn, and probably the most important one right now is using groups. Most people can belong to up to 50 groups, and if you belong to those groups, you start experiencing that you have more reach to different LinkedIn members. And if you look at my direct network of 2,000 people that I can effectively reach within my groups, I can reach over 600,000 people. So you need to take advantage of groups to communicate your message. The fourth thing is you have to build credibility. Once somebody finds your profile and they know you, they still have to like and trust you before they're going to choose to do business with you. So you can do things such as answering questions, generating recommendations from clients. You can participate in group discussions, share news articles. All those things will help you build your credibility. And that's what's going to lead you to finding success. The last thing is, once you've got all that in place, you still have to communicate your message on an ongoing basis to the members and the people that are in your network. So you have to find those specific ways you can communicate, whether it's, once again, answering questions, sending out indirect messages through the status update, through recommendations, applications. Blogs are a great way to communicate with your LinkedIn network. And so those 5 things will help you more effectively use LinkedIn.
Great advice. So can you give us any advice on ways we can grow our company on LinkedIn America?
Well, I think it's twofold. One, you have to work on it through building your own profile. The second is you have to start building a profile for the company. And so as you build your profile, more people will be exposed to Blank Stage Productions. At the same time, there's ability for you to create a company page on LinkedIn, so you want to take advantage of that. And part of the beauty of it is all your employees and people that are associated with Blank Stage Productions are going to be listed on that site. And so you can start to use their resources and their networks to really drive people towards Blank Stage. Second thing is, if you've already established a Blank Stage group, but there really needs to be a little work put into it, you need to build that membership up. And think in terms of, if you've got 50 members today, how much more effectively would it be if you had 2,000 members? And that gives you the ability where you can communicate on a weekly basis to those people. You can just have discussion questions. You can share press releases when you produce new videos. And so you just want to take all of that action and just focus it on driving really awareness about Blank Stage Productions.
Shauna, tell us a little bit more about your blog and the books you've written.
Well, the LinkedIn Tuition blog is a great resource if you're looking for information on LinkedIn, how to effectively use it. It's somewhat just my random thoughts on a weekly basis of where I see people need to more effectively use LinkedIn. So I try to share the ways that I'm doing that. It's somewhat unorganized in that it just writes based on what's on top of my mind that week. The books are a different story. They're a little bit more structured, and so the LinkedIn MBA, if you look at that book, it's written to coincide with the navigation of LinkedIn. So if you have a question on groups, you go to the groups chapter. If you have a question on profiles, you go to the profiles chapter. So it's a great resource. The second book, though, is the one I'm really excited about. It's the first book that's out there really talking about how to strategically use LinkedIn, and that's LinkedIn Marketing Secret Formula. And in it, I pretty much lay out what I've done over the last year, how I've used LinkedIn to drive results for my business. Anywhere from 1 to 5 people each week call me based on that activity. And then something else I've put in there, for those people that blog out there, is actually talk about how I've grown the LinkedIn Tuition blog from 2,200 people to 50,000 visitors a month over a short period of time, primarily using LinkedIn. So I think just that point alone is worth the cost of the book.
Sean, thank you so much for coming out today. Any final thoughts?
Well, I think, as you're participating with LinkedIn, you have to remember it's a contact sport, and you have to be active, you have to participate, and you have to be out there. If you're just sitting there waiting for something to happen, it's not going to happen. You have to, once again, take that purpose of why you're on LinkedIn and then make it happen.
Sean, thank you so much for coming out today.
Brent, thanks for having me. I look forward to coming back sometime.